So in this screencast here, we're going to introduce how to create a simple web page using HTML, hypertext markup language. You'll see in your textbook you also they talk about XHTML. You also see references around to HTML5, which is the latest version of HTML as of today. I'm gonna keep it for our purposes of this class. We're just gonna talk about HTML, and it'll be kind of all-encompassing of that. All right. So we introduced some new tools. I think our last couple lessons where we had an FTP tool. Quick review that allows us to copy a file from our local machine to a remote server somewhere, and we'll keep using that FTP tool. The one that we chose was FileZilla. That's an open source product, and then we also kind of got it in a clever format from the portableapps.com site. So that was one that you didn't need to really install. You just need to unpack, and you can take it with you and actually put it on a USB drive. Okay, so to create web pages, there's a process here. One, we need to encode the text. All right, and we don't necessarily program when we're doing HTML. We're encoding. In other words, we're describing how we want the page to be displayed. In order to do that, we need a text editor. A text editor is a common tool for all application developers, all software developers. We'll grab one off the Portable Apps site. And when I get in here, I'll just show you where to get that from. If you go to Get Apps, when you first go to portableapps.com, and then they have this long list. And excuse me, I have you on a really kind of skinny portion of my my monitor here just for resolution purposes. So I'm going to use another little tool that we learned, and I'll try and move this up just a little bit so you can see it. I'll hit Control F here, and that brings up my search. And the product I know that I'm looking for is Notepad++. So I'll go ahead and start typing in Notepad. And right away it takes me down, even though there's numerous software packages here. It finds the Notepad++ portable link, and you click on that, and you can find a download on it, and go ahead and bring that down. Once you download that, you'll need to unpack it, and when I say unpack it, is double click on it, and it'll direct you where you want to install it. I'm gonna minimize my web browser right now. What I've created on my desktop is I have a little folder here called Portable Apps, and in it I've installed all the portable apps I intend to use for this particular class, and actually some other ones as well. So this screencast software is available via Portable Apps if you're really interested in screencasting. It's called Cam Studio Portable. Here's my FileZilla Portable. And the one that I want to use today to kind of put us into this whole mindset for web pages is called Notepad++ Portable. All right, so I'm going to open that up, and there's the executable file. I'll fire that guy up, and again I'm going to just put that down in the background for the time being. I gotta kind of navigate the screen a little smaller here, make it so it's pleasant for you to read as well. Alright, so I have that running. I'll minimize that right now. And again, I want to the other skill I think is really important to get out of this class is file management and organization. Alright, so I'm gonna close off this particular folder, and I want you to look here how I have my applications organized, and I'm gonna create another folder over here. Let's go new, and again I'm on a Windows platform. Okay, so I right click. I'm sure you do something similar on a Mac if that's your platform of choice here. And here I'm just gonna call this new folder Unit 2, because I can envision that I'm gonna have lots of different files I'm gonna put in there. In fact, our last assignment 2.3, we were all asked to just create a simple text file using the Notepad editor in this particular case and put our name in it, and then that's the file we copied over to our server. Okay, and I'll say it's our web server because it really is. I'm going to keep all this together, and I'm just going to put this inside the Unit 2 folder. All right, so any assignments or any work that I do out of Unit 2, it's all stacked up in here, including some of the examples I'm going to give you. All right, so let's create a web page. Or I should say an HTML document. Alright, so when I first pull this up, I need to do a save as, and this probably went right off the screen for you, but it's no different than any other application. Go up to File, Save As, And then I have this on I'm working from my desktop. Let me click on my desktop over here. And I created a folder over here called, I got lots of stuff here, Unit 2. Let me go into Unit 2 folder. You can see assignment 2.3.text. I want to create a new file here, but I want it to be an HTML file. Okay, so I'm going to just call this one example1.htm. All right, and the HTML, the extension HTML lets your operating system know that we will be working with web pages here and to open it up as a web page as opposed to a TXT file, which is just a basic text file. Find this common, and this might be trivial to you, but recognizing file extensions is really a helpful skill as we move forward in trying to understand what type of application is needed to open up a particular type of file. So some common file extensions like DOC, DOCX is a word processing, Microsoft Word file, same thing with XLS or XLSX, PPT, PPTX. So those are, I think those are pretty wide known just because the proliferation of Microsoft Office software. Some other ones, HTML, JPG, JPEG, PNGs, GIFs, they're all image formats, which we will cover in this unit as well. Okay, so I will go ahead and tag this as example1.htm. I'll save it. All right, so there's my file name. Now I'm going to minimize this now. We're going to go take a look at that. And I open up Unit 2 folder, and you look at this and see how there's an association here, and it's got, you know, my Microsoft proprietary operating system stamps IE's little symbol on there for Internet Explorer. But there's my file, and when I double click on it, it's gonna not only does it open up the file, but it opens it up in the appropriate application, which in this case is my web browser. Let's double click on it and see what happens here. And of course there's nothing in here yet, and it does open it up in Internet Explorer, which isn't necessarily my favorite tool, but I'll show you how to open up in other web browsers as well. Okay, so there's example1.htm as I view it. All right, and then if I go down here, here's example1.htm in my editor. Now recognize here in my web browser I can't change the file. This is read only. Over here in my text editor, I can change the file. In fact, if I just write hello world, and I always need to save it, and rather than keep going up here and hit save or click on a disk here, I like using Control S. It's kind of a little shortcut, and you can see it dimmed out now because it's saved. And I go back over here to my web browser, and I'm going to reload the page. And there it is. It says hello world. And even though that's an HTML file, there's no formatting, no encoding yet. It's still able to read it because that's all that's on that particular in that particular document right now. Okay. Well, let's go ahead and start writing with some HTML. And I'm not going to use exact HTML in this little screencast. I'll just do really rough. I don't know what rough means, but incomplete HTML. So when we work with HTML, we all work with tags. And my first tag is the HTML tag, and it identifies that this particular document I'm creating will be in HTML. If you notice, there's a tag that opens and a tag that closes. And when we look at the tag that closes, it usually has a / in front of it. Okay, / going from left to right in an upward direction. All right. There's lots of tools here. This is a really nice editor, and you know, we've used Notepad that comes with Windows before, and you're welcome to do that. But one of the things that this does is it has all these nice colors, and if you go over here to language, you can tell it which language you want to work with. And I want to work with HTML, so I go under H, click on HTML, and now it actually will recognize my HTML tags as I go through this. Now, not a big deal when you're writing a couple lines of encoded HTML, but when I start writing, you know, several hundred lines, well, it's nice to have some other tools because they don't always work right. We're all human and we make mistakes. Okay, so let's put a and you can look in your textbook here, and it kind of shows you an Eddy web page. You have you know, a heading at the top there, and then you have your body. Okay, so let me pause for just a second here. Okay, my pause was to open up the textbook here. Maybe you could do so as well and open up to page 89 in figure 4.2. And here it shows you what you need in an HTML document. All right, and this is kind of the format I'm going to take right now. And my intent here is just to show you a quick HTML page. All right, so I'll put this stuff in more or less the way that it states in that particular figure. All right, and I'm just going to put hello world in here again. All right, and what we'll find now is we have the HTML code, but it's really not going to change our page display. All right, so I can refresh. You know, if I hit F5, I can refresh as well. So I hit F5 and it refreshed the page. All right, and again, I haven't really made much for changes here. Let's make a couple little changes here. All right, one thing I'll do is I'll use a header tag. I'll use the H1 header. Anytime I open a tag, I always close a tag. And a header is like a you know, bold-faced, larger print type of text. You can read more about headers as we get into this chapter here. So I edit it, and I go up here and I refresh, and voila, I've done a little bit of encoding to that particular document. Let me go back over here. So I said hello world, and let me put some more text in there and save it. What I really like to do with this text now is just put it on 2 lines. Okay, so I want one line to be hello world and the next line to say hello, this is my name. Okay, real simple little exercise here. I hit save, go back, I hit F5, and I was kind of correct. I got the text to display, but notice how it's not on 2 lines. It's on the same line. Okay, so first lesson in HTML is if you want things on 2 lines, you need to go ahead and tell your text editor that. And we have a break, a line break, whoops, and a line break tag is BR, and then it's got a / at the end of it. And notice there's no open and closing this one. This is known as a singleton tag, which you'll read about in your text as well. Okay, so I'll save that, and I'll go back over to my web browser and refresh, and boom, there it is. Okay, so I didn't really dazzle you here with any super interesting examples, but the point of this was to get you set up with a text editor, get it installed, and then next be able just to write a little bit of HTML with that. All right, and then the last goal that I was really striving for here for you to work on is some file management. All right, so I will continue to use this same setup as we go through the next couple lessons.